Everything about the great ancient civilization that once seized the lands remained a mystery. That is, until July 19th, 1799. A French soldier, Pierre-François Bouchard, stumbles upon a large stone slab about 35 miles east of Alexandria during Napoleon Bonaparte's Egyptian expedition. This unassuming black basalt artifact, inscribed with 3 scripts, Greek, Demotic, and the enigmatic hieroglyphs, unearths a written language dead for over 2 millennia. Champollion's decipherment in 1822 would prove the key to unlocking the secrets of an entire civilization, revealing Pharaohs' decrees, gods' hymns, and the whispers of a world where men built mountains to touch the stars. Egypt is the gift of the Nile, proclaimed Herodotus, the father of history, in the 5th century BCE. The Nile, that serpentine lifeline snaking 4,130 miles from Africa's heart to the Mediterranean's embrace, provided not just water, but the black silt, kemet, the Egyptians called it, that birthed abundance. Annual floods from June to September deposited nutrient-rich mud, turning arid valleys into verdant breadbaskets. This rhythm dictated life, inundation, akhet, when fields drowned in fertile chaos, emergence, shemu, the dry season of harvest, and growth, pere, the cool planting months. Without the Nile, no pyramids, no pharaohs, no eternal afterlife, just dust. The river strip divided Egypt into 2 realms. Upper Egypt, the narrow southern valley from Aswan to Memphis, tall and lean like a reed. Lower Egypt, the broad northern delta fanning into marshes and canals, geological scars from Miocene times, 23 to 5 million years ago, carved this landscape, with cataracts, rocky rapids, guarding the south like natural fortresses. Resources abounded: papyrus for scrolls and boats, gold from Nubian mines, turquoise from Sinai, ebony and ivory from Punt. These gifts fostered the world's first great agricultural society, where surplus grain fueled scribes, artisans, and kings. At Paleolithic twilight, circa 10,000 BCE, hunter-gatherers roamed, crafting arrows from flint, harpoons from bone, querns for grinding wild grains. Carbon-14, dating from sites like Thinis, reveals silos holding emmer wheat and barley from 4,600 to 4,250 BCE, proof of organized farming. Early folk built reed huts in Nile marshes, herding goats and sewing flax for linen. By Neolithic dawn, villages dotted the valley, pottery wheels turned, and copper tools gleamed. Egypt's story begins here, in mud and flood, where humanity first tamed the wild. The pre-dynastic period, a shadowy prelude from circa 6,000 to 3,150 BCE, bridges the Stone Age chasm to dynastic glory. No ink-stained papyri survive, but archaeology paints a vivid tapestry. From Paleolithic nomads to Neolithic farmers, the Nile Valley's cultures evolved like the river itself, slow, relentless, fertile. Named for dig sites rather than ethnic groups, these societies whisper through grave goods, tools, and bones. In the western sands between Egypt and Nubia, the Halfan culture, circa 30,000 to 25,000 BCE, emerged, microlith hunters spearing gazelle with tiny stone blades. By 13,000 BCE, the Kadan culture ground wild sorghum into paste, while Sibyllian folk, 12,000 to 10,000 BCE, fashioned barbed harpoons for Nile perch. The Hariffian, 10,000 to 7,000 BCE, in Sinai's fringes, herded early sheep, their rock art depicting hunts under starlit skies. These were roving bands, but the Nile's bounty seduced them southward into sedentism. Enter the Fayum Oasis, a sunken emerald 60 miles southwest of Cairo, cradling Lake Karun like a beggar's palm. From 9000 to 6000 BCE, Fayum A folk, ancestors of true Egyptians, fished with nets woven from flax, hunted ibex with bows, and tilled barley on receding floodplains. Reed huts with sunken storage pits sheltered families. Cattle, sheep, and goats lowed in corrals. Basketry bloomed in intricate patterns. Coiled reeds dyed with ochre, while pottery, fired in open kilns, held emmer bread and beer. Tribal chiefs, adorned in ostrich feathers, mediated disputes, their authority kin-based, foreshadowing pharaonic bloodlines. As clans swelled, villages like Merimde, 5000 to 4000 BCE, arose on the delta's west bank. Mud brick homes clustered around granaries, farmers planting lentils and peas amid summer floods. Lower Egypt's bounty contrasted Upper's austerity. In the south, Badarian culture, 4400 to 4000 BCE, pitched tents of hide but favored fixed abodes of wattle and daub. They buried kin in shallow oval graves, bodies flexed fetal style with ivory combs, copper beads, and slate palettes for eye paint. Cosmetics warding off evil in the afterlife. Amration or Nakada I, 4000 to 3500 BCE, refined this. Villages at Nakada and Hierakonpolis boasted homes with hearths, windows, and windbreaks. Mummification seeds sprouted around 3500 BCE. Natron salts desiccating flesh. Grave goods, pallets etched with hunting scenes, ensuring the Ka's journey. Nakada II, the Gerzean, 3500 to 3200 BCE, ignited commerce's flame. Black-topped pottery rippled like waves, traded for Mesopotamian lapis lazuli. Cylinder seals echoed Sumerian motifs. Sun-baked bricks birthed courtyard villas for elites, while Abydos bloomed as an acropolis, mud brick tombs swelling to limestone mastabas, city of the dead rivaling the living. Pilgrims from afar interred kin here, offerings of beer jars and flint knives honoring Anubis, jackal guardian of graves. Hieroglyphs flickered to life circa 3400 BCE, protoscripts on ivory tags labeling goods, 10 geese from the delta, though full sentences awaited Dynasty II's Peribsen. Nakada III, 3200 to 3150 BCE, the terminal pre-dynastic, crackled with rivalry. City-states like Thinis, Nakada, and Nekhen vied for Nile's bounty, trade in obsidian, clashes over canals. Scorpion mace heads depict a king in bull-tail kilt smiting foes. Palette of Narmer, perhaps Menes, shows conquest. Red-crowned Lower Egypt subdued by white-crowned Upper. Ka, shadowy unifier, bridges to dynasty. By 3100 BCE, palettes proclaim 2 lands, 1 scepter. Egypt awakens. From 3150 to 2613 BCE, the early dynastic period ignites Egypt's historical fuse. Upper and Lower unite under Memphis's shadow, birthing centralized rule, divine kingship, and a culture etched in eternity. Writing blooms, cursive hieratic for admin, hieroglyphs for monuments, while arts standardize. Rigid poses, profile views symbolizing eternal vigilance. Menes, Narmer, Thinis' scion, strides as first pharaoh circa 3100 BCE. His palette, carved basalt beauty, depicts him clubbing a delta foe, Horus falcon atop his head. Marrying Nakada's Nithotep seals alliances. Campaigns crush Canaanite rebels, Nubian raiders. Urbanization surges. Memphis, white walls gleaming, warehouses bulge with grain. Horaha, his son, 3100 to 3050 BCE, expands trade to Byblos for cedar, builds Saqqara's first mastaba, rectangular tomb foreshadowing pyramids. Devout, he funds Abydos shrines to Osiris, lord of resurrection. Jair, 3050 to 3000 BCE, mirrors this 40-year reign of stability. His tomb, a vast mastaba with 300 subsidiary graves for retainers, ultimate loyalty. Jet, 3000 to 2980 BCE, weds Mernith, whose stela proclaims queenship. She likely regents for infant Den, 2970 to 2930 BCE. First woman etched in power's annals. Den, Dynasty I's apex, rules 50 years. Economic booms via Red Sea ports, conquests to Sinai turquoise mines. Ivory labels show him in double crown, pshent, unifying regalia, white hedjet cone for upper, red deshret disc for lower. Arts flourish, ebony boxes inlaid with ivory, tomb reliefs of hippo hunts. Anagib, 2930 to 2920 BCE, and Samarkand, 2920 to 2910 BCE, falter amid famines, revolts. Qua, 2910 to 2890 BCE, clings, his heirs slain in succession wars. Hotepsekhemwi, 2890 to 2860 BCE, founds Dynasty II, name two powers in peace, mocking strife. Yet unrest simmers. Raneb Nebra, 2860 to 2850 BCE, weds name to Ra, divine link, strengthening throne. Peribsen, 2740 to 2730 BCE, Upper Egypt's partisan, favors Seth, desert chaos god, over Horus, Serek, royal enclosure, stamped with Wa's scepter. No monotheism but political ploy against Delta's falcon cult. Trade thrives, lapis from Afghanistan, electrum from Nubia. Kasekemwi, 2720 to 2691 BCE, perhaps Peribsen's son, reunites. Statues at Hierakonpolis show foes prostrate. His Abydos tomb, 70 meters long, yields gold foil boats for afterlife voyage. Father to Djoser, he bridges to Pyramid Age. Dynasty II's haze, erased annals, repeated names, mirrors turmoil, but forges Egypt's iron spine. Bureaucracy tallies taxes, scribes log floods, viziers whisper counsel. The Third Dynasty, 2686 to 2613 BCE, dawns with innovation's fire. Sanakt's brief flicker yielding to Djoser, 2630 to 2611 BCE, eternity's architect. Manetho's lists blur. Sanakt, Mastaba K2 at Beit Khalaf, his sole echo. But Djoser endures. Reigning 20-plus years, he quells Sinai nomads, mines copper, stabilizes realm for ambition's leap. At Saqqara, Vizier Imhotep, polymath sage, physician, astrologer, dreams beyond mastabas. The step pyramid complex, 6 tiers ascending 62 meters, limestone sheathed in tura casing, glyphs of reeds and lotuses adorning base. Begun as square mastaba, expanded sixfold, each layer inset, white gleam piercing sky, subterranean labyrinth, 5-kilometer corridors, blue-tiled chambers mimicking underworld caves, Serdab, statue niche, hiding Djoser's K, robbed in antiquity, footbone sole relic, yet genius endures. Imhotep, deified later as healing god, Asclepius's twin, embodies Third Dynasty's fusion, science as sorcery. Sekhemkhet, 2611 to 2600 BCE, apes this. Unfinished buried pyramid at Saqqara, mud brick core collapsed. Kaba's layer pyramid at Zawiat el Aryan, stepped and rubble-filled, stumbles. Huni, 2600 to 2575 BCE, last king, quarries Madam's stone, but credit shifts to son Sneferu. Dynasty III's vision, stone over brick, monument over mound, paves pyramid path, arts rigidifying. Slate palettes yield to granite reliefs, pharaohs striding eternal. The Old Kingdom, 2686 to 2181 BCE. Age of Pyramids. Crowns dynasties 4 to 6 in Memphis's glory. Sparse papyri. Stone speaks. Inscriptions on causeways. Stelae at mortuary temples. Una's pyramid texts, circa 2350 BCE, spells for stellar ascent. Art canonizes. Grid-proportioned figures. Pharaohs colossal, elites diminutive. Giza's triad and sphinx mesmerize, but smaller mastabas at Dashur whisper equal craft. Society stratifies. Pharaoh, god-king owning all, delegates to viziers, prime ministers juggling taxes, Nile gauges, nilometers, corvée labor, literati, scribes in linen kilts, outweigh illiterates, positions familial, merit rare. Vizier like Hemiunu, Khufu's nephew, oversees legions. Inequality persists. Post-mortem. Elites mummified in linen, peasants in reed mats. Yet all crave Egypt's soil for rebirth. Ka tethered to native dust. Dynasty 4's Sneferu, 2575 to 2551 BCE. Huni's heir. Masters megastructures. Meidum Pyramid. True pyramid attempt. 7-step core cased in limestone, but 65-degree slope on sand base collapses in quake. Circa 2600 BCE. Rubble mound endures. Learning, he builds bent pyramid at Dashur, 2550 BCE. 54 degrees base, bends to 43 degrees midway. Workers pivot mid-build. Pink limestone blushing under casing. Red Pyramid, 2550 BCE. 105 meters tall, 43-degree slope on bedrock. First success. White Tura stone, now stripped, gleamed like dawn. Mortuary temples host eternal feasts. Priests intone offerings. Causeways linked to valley shrines. Khufu Cheops, 2551 to 2528 BCE. Sneferu's son inherits wealth. Nubian gold, Libyan ivory, Byblos cedar. Greek tales, Herodotus, paint tyrant, slaves hauling blocks. But Westcar papyrus tales reveal curiosity, not cruelty. Great Pyramid, 2.3 million blocks, 2.5 tons average, aligned to cardinal points. Error less than 0.05 degrees. Base square to 19 centimeters. Built 20 years, 20,000 workers in rotating shifts, skilled masons, not slaves. Graffiti names crews like Friends of Khufu. Ramps debated, straight, spiraling, internal. Osiris shaft below hints rituals. Interior, ascending corridor to Grand Gallery, acoustic wonder. King's chamber with granite sarcophagus, air shafts to stars. Orion for Osiris, Sirius for Isis. Robbed, empty, yet math awes. Pi in proportions, golden ratio whispers. Himyunu, vizier architect buried nearby. Floods fed labor. Nile's Akhet idled farmers, state rations, bread, beer, onions sustained them. Upward mobility beckoned. Engravers etched gods, carpenters crafted beds, brewers fermented Tienanyet's gift. Beer as wage, Osiris's boon. Daily life pulsed. Peasants chant, work for the noble. Tilling emmer for bread beer. Women gardens of leeks, garlic. Marriages parental. Girls 12, boys 14. Royals betrothed infants for pacts. Leisure, senate boards, mihen snakes. Sports, hockey with sticks, archery contests. Nile jousts in papyrus skiffs. Oarsmen dodging splashes. Jeddah 2528 to 2520 BCE. Khufu's eldest, not heir, builds Abu Rawash Pyramid, unfinished, usurped later. Khafre, 2520 to 2494 BCE, rivals. Giza's second pyramid, 143 meters, casing intact till the 14th century, now apex. Sphinx guards, 73-meter lion, 20-meter pharaoh face, Khafras, recumbent sentinel carved from enclosure bedrock circa 2500 BCE. Erosion debates age, but aligns with complex. Valley Temple. Diorite statues stare eternal. Menkaure, 2494 to 2472 BCE, shrinks. 65-meter pyramid, granite base, resources wane. Complex smaller, yet triad statues, with Hathor, gnomes goddesses, human eyes, pharaoh's gaze tender. Shepsiskaf, 2472 to 2467 BCE, rejects pyramids, opts Sakura mastaba, sign of strain. Giza thrives as necropolis city, 20,000 souls in barracks, breweries, bakeries, vibrant hub till Roman times. Dynasty 5, 2465 to 2323 BCE, Sun Kings, exalt Ra, Userkaf, 2465 to 2458 BCE, founds Abusir sun temples. Ben stones mimic sun's rays. Sahura, 2458 to 2446 BCE, sails to Punt, Somalia, Eritrea. Returns myrrh, ebony. Reliefs depict giraffe hunts, palmiform columns grace courts. Neferir Kare Kakai, 2446 to 2426 BCE, Korrigans, priesthood swells. Priesthood's coffers balloon, land grants, tithes, eroding royal purse. Dynasty 6, 2345 to 2181 BCE. Phrase. Titi, 2345 to 2323 BCE, murdered. Manetho claims. Pepi, 2321 to 2287 BCE, Korrigans with Ankes and Pepi. No marks rise. Marin Ray, 2287 to 2278 BCE, Pepi 2, 2278 to 2184 BCE, Child King to Centenarian, 94-year reign crumbles. Vizier Harkuf's Wadi Hamamat reports famine. Bedouin raids. Nitocris, legendary avenger, ends dynasty. Droughts, decentralization, no-march tombs, dwarf royal, central power evaporates. Old kingdom falls, not cataclysm, but whisper, into intermediate shadow. From 2181 to 2055 BCE, the first intermediate period unravels Old Kingdom's thread. No Giza-scale wonders, resources scattered to nomarchs, petty kings in Heracleopolis, dynasties 7 to 10, yet not chaos. Provincial lit, e.g., Lamentations of Ipuwer, bemoan upside-down world, but digs reveal continuity. Trade, farming thrive locally. Dynasties 7 to 8 flicker, 20-plus ephemeral kings, annals blank. Memphis wanes, Heracleopolis claims throne, but Thebes stirs. Intef I, 2125 to 2112 BCE. No march, overseer of priests, defies north, founds Dynasty 11. Intef the Mighty carves Karnak stela, conquests swell Theban sway. Intef II, 2112 to 2063 BCE, raids Abydos, slays Heracleopolitan prince. Intef III, 2063 to 2055 BCE, pushes north. Mentuhotep II, 2055 to 2004 BCE, clinches unity. White crown to red lands, Karnak's temple expands. Deified in life, his dear El Bari mortuary, terraced like cliffs, blends rock cut and built. Mentuhotep III, 2004 to 1992 BCE, quests Punt for incense. Mentuhotep IV, 1992 to 1985 BCE, fades. Vizier Amenemhat I, 1985 to 1956 BCE, seizes via miracle. Gazelle births on sarcophagus stone, rain reveals well. Ichtawi, his new capital, South Memphis. The Middle Kingdom, 2055 to 1650 BCE, Classical Age, revives old glory with nuance, central power tempered by provincial bloom. Dynasty 12's Coregencies ensure smooth sails, literature flowers, Sinuhe's Tale of Exile, art softens, realistic faces, striding pharaohs. Amenemhat the First fortifies. Instruction papyrus warns heirs of betrayal. Senusret the First, 1971 to 1926 BCE. Korigans, builds Karnak's Amun temple. Hypostyle seeds. Nubia subdued, Sinai turquoise flows. Amenemhat II, 1929 to 1895 BCE, trades Lebanon cedar. Senusret II, 1897 to 1878 BCE, engineers Fayum. Lake Moeris diked, canals irrigate 30,000 acres. Whitechapel lists 42 nomes. Senusret III, 1878 to 1839 BCE, warrior deity, crushes Nubia. Semna forts guard gold mines, Stele boast no Nubian passes. Palestine raids enrich, colossal statues, dark basalt, gaze fierce, deified at death. Amenemhat III, 1839 to 1814 BCE, famine stealer survivor, builds Hawara labyrinth, 3,000 rooms, crocodile god Sobek's cult. El Lahun pyramid town, grid planned, workers' villages with bakeries. Dynasty 13 fragments, 1803 to 1649 BCE, 50-plus kings. Thebes weakens, Delta Semites rise. Irrigation innovates, shut-off levers lift Nile water to fields. Basin system, 130 reservoirs, stores floods. Crops diversify, emmer wheat, barley, flax, lentils, chickpeas. Grapes vine for wine, dates sweeten feasts. Papyrus yields paper, rope, sails. Tomb scenes vivify, plowing with ard, scratch plow, winnowing chaff, threshing with cattle. Women grind, men haul. Jehudi Nacht's tomb, 12th dynasty, depicts 172 men sledding 6.8-meter colossus, water-slicked rollers easing path, lost statue, eternal proof. Sobekneferu, 1806 to 1802 BCE, first confirmed queen pharaoh, rules Sans heir. Dynasty 13 dawns weak. From 1782 to 1570 BCE, fracture deepens. Dynasty 13's Theban focus cedes Delta to Asiatics, Hyksos, rulers of foreign lands, Semitic traders from Canaan, retinue. Avaris their hub, fortified with Minoan frescoes, horse chariots, revolutionizing war. Names like Apepi echo Egyptian, but Baal worship blends with Seth. Southward, Nubia's Kerma kingdom swells, bowmen, cattle cults, Egypt's forts abandoned. Dynasties 14 to 16 muddle, Hyksos kings, 15th, treaty with nomarchs. Sekenenre Tau, 1585 to 1550 BCE, defies Apepi's taunt. Hippopotamus hunts disturb my sleep. Mummy's axe wounds scream battle death. Kamose, 1550 to 1525 BCE, Sax Nephracy, rages in Stele. Asiatics tax me. Avaris raised? Exaggerated. Hyksos hold 3 years more. Amos I, 1525 to 1504 BCE, brother, expels. Avaris storms, Sharuhan siege 6 years. Hyksos flee to Syria, professional army born, chariots, composites bows. Nubia reconquered, empire seeds sown. Second Intermediate's legacy, resilience forged in foreign fire. The New Kingdom, 1550 to 1070 BCE, imperial zenith, spans dynasties 18 to 20, Thebes capital, Karnak's pylon forests, Amun's domain. Amos I fortifies, delta walls, Nubian garrisons, Amenhotep I, 1525 to 1504 BCE, Korrigans, Abydos Osiris cult blooms, embalming guilds professionalize. Thutmose I, 1504 to 1492 BCE, vaults south. Nubian king hung from prow, borders to Third Cataract. Syria probed. Karnak doubled. Thutmose II, 1492 to 1479 BCE, weds sister Hatshepsut. Minor wife births Thutmose III. Hatshepsut, 1479 to 1458 BCE, regent turned pharaoh, dazzles. Deir el-Bahri's terraced Djeser-Djeseru, ramps, colonnades, rises like Thebes' cliffs. Punt expedition, circa 1470 BCE, ships laden myrrh trees planted in reliefs, ivory, gold. Women traders hail Lady of Punt, obese queen dwarfed by baboons. Obelisks twin 30-meter granite needles. Karnak's Lateran now roams. Trade booms, ebony, leopard skins. No wars, harmony reigns. Thutmose III erases her, chisel marks on statues, but legacy endures. Thutmose III, 1479 to 1425 BCE. Napoleon of Egypt unleashes 17 campaigns. Megiddo, 1457 BCE, genius. Aruna Pass, ambush scatters coalition, siege yields tribute. Annals on Karnak's, poem of the king. Chanani scribes glory. Empire peaks, Mitanni vassals, retinue gold, 350 cities taxed. Buhan to Kyrgyz south, Lebanon cedars north. Amenhotep II, 1427 to 1400 BCE. Charioteer, 7 bows in tomb, Syrian princes as hostages. Thutmose IV, 1400 to 1390 BCE. Dream Steely, rests Sphinx, Ra promises throne, usurper whispers linger, repairs Giza. Amenhotep III, 1390 to 1352 BCE. Magnificent, opulence is king. Luxor Temple, Colossi of Memnon, 18 meters quartzite. 55-year peace. Mitanni daughter wed. Nubia mines yield 100 kilograms gold yearly. Soleb Temple deifies self. Amun priests swell. 1/3 land theirs. Aten sun disk rises, counterweight to Theban power. Akhenaten, Amenhotep IV, 1353 to 1336 BCE. Revolutionary. Amarna, new capital, elongated art. Family intimate under Aten's rays. Monotheism, henotheism. Aten's sole visible god, Amun smashed, 5,000 statues defaced. Nefertiti's bust, alabaster grace, blue crown. Hymns poetic, living Aten, lord of dawn. Death scatters court. Tutankhamun, 1336 to 1327 BCE. Boy king, restores Amun, Memphis capital. Golden tomb, 1922. Carter find, 5,000 artifacts, chariots, trumpets, canopic shrine, untouched miracle. Dies 19, malaria/accident. Ankhesenamun's plea to Hittites for groom fails. A. 1327 to 1323 BCE. Succeeds. Brief. Horemheb, 1323 to 1295 BCE. General, purges Amarna. Karnak rebuilt, laws codified. No heir. Rameses I, 1295 to 1294 BCE. Vizier, founds Dynasty 19, aged. Delegates Seti I, 1294 to 1279 BCE. Seti reclaims Canaan. Karnak hypostyle, 134 columns. Abydos, king list. Rameses II, 1279 to 1213 BCE. Great ancestor, 66 years, 100 plus sons. Kadesh, 1274 BCE. Hittite ambush, 2,500 chariots vs. Ramesses 2,000. Bedouin spies lie. Amun division crushes flank. Ptah saves day. Treaty, 1258 BCE. History's first. Silver tablets vow peace. Extraditions. Abu Simbel, 20-meter colossi. Relocated 1960s. Ramesseum mortuary. Ozymandias sonnets ruin. Pi Ramesses capital. Delta metropolis. Merneptah, 1213 to 1203 BCE. 13th son survives. Israel is laid waste. Stele, first biblical mention. Libyans repelled. Sea peoples probed. Dynasty 20. Ramesses III, 1186 to 1155 BCE. Last lion. Sea peoples, Peliset, Philistines. Sheridan, Rays Ugarit. Delta ambushes. Archers torch ships off Zoas, 1178 BCE. Inscriptions boast 12,000 slain. Costly. Treasury bleeds. Deir el Medina strike, 1156 BCE. Workers demand grain. Harem plot fells him. Mummy wounds testify. Successors, Ramesses IV to the 11th, 1155 to 1070 BCE, flail, priests dominate, tomb robberies scandalize. Ramesses XI, 1107 to 10077 BCE, cedes to Smendes, new kingdom fades, Amun's shadow lengthens. From 1070 to 664 BCE, third intermediate splinters, Tanis, lower, versus Thebes, upper, priests as kings. Smendes, 1070 to 1046 BCE, buries Ramesses XI, claims pharaonic right. Delta trade revives. Herihor, 1080 to 1070 BCE, Amun high priest parallels. Karnak rules upper. Dynasty 21 wanes. 22's Shoshenq I, 945 to 924 BCE, Libyan Bubastite, unifies. Jerusalem sack, First Kings. 14. Karnak lists 156 towns. Osorkon II, 874 to 850 BCE, allies Assyria, Bubastis temple gleams. Fracture follows. Nomes autonomous. Heracleopolis, Sais, Mendes. Nubia's Kashta, 760 to 752 BCE, infiltrates. Napata Egyptianized, Thebantines. Pa, 747 to 716 BCE, conquers north. Stela of Paye, boasts piety, spares foes who bow. Dynasty 25's Shabaka, 716 to 702 BCE, restores Memphis Ptah Temple. Taharka, 690 to 664 BCE, battles Assyria, Sennacherib repelled, Isaiah 37, but Esarhaddon sacks Memphis, 671 BCE. Assyrians install puppets, Psamtik I, 664 to 610 BCE. Dynasty 26, expels with Greek mercenaries. Necho II, 610 to 595 BCE, digs Suez Canal, unfinished. Navy of Phoenicians circles Africa, Herodotus. Psamtik II, 595 to 589 BCE, Nubia razed. Apries, 589 to 570 BCE, fails Sidon siege. Amasis II, 570 to 526 BCE, ex-general, reforms. Greek trade booms, Naucratis port. Economy surges, linen exports, horse breeding, temples restored, Saqqara Serapeum cat mummies multiply. Psamtik III, 526 to 525 BCE, crumbles. Cambyses II, Persians storm Pelusium, 525 BCE. Cats sacred, warfare halts Egyptians. Persian satrapy begins. From 664 to 332 BCE, late period, dynasties 26 to 31, flickers independence. Persians rule gently at first. Cambyses, 525 to 522 BCE, desecrates Apis bull. Propaganda. Mummy shows respect. Darius I, 522 to 486 BCE, twice visits. Suez Canal completes, 120-mile waterway. Memphis adds royal road. Tolerance. Egyptian gods honored, pyramid repairs funded. Xerxes I, 486 to 465 BCE, squeezes tribute for Salamis. Egypt funds Greek war. Artaxerxes I, 465 to 424 BCE, quells Inaros, the second revolt. 460 BCE, Athenian aid fails. Dynasties 28 to 30, rebel. Amirtaeus, 404 to 399 BCE, swamps Delta guerrilla. Nectanebo I, 399 to 393 BCE, Nectanebo II, 360 to 343 BCE, rebuild, Philae Isis temple, Bubastis hypostyle. Artaxerxes III reconquers, 343 BCE, massacres. Freedom's gasp, Philip II of Macedon eyes Persia, Alexander, 332 BCE, routs at Issus, crowns Pharaoh at Memphis, Gordian not legend born. Ptolemy I succeeds, Cleopatra VII ends native line, 30 BCE. Yet late period endures, culture unbowed, temples rise, faience blues, granite endures, Egyptian sovereignty wanes, but spirit, eternal. Modern Egypt, 21st century Phoenix, echoes antiquity. Nile's floods tamed by Aswan Dam, 1960s. Yet Wafa El Nil Festival celebrates inundation. Fireworks mimic ancient rites. Cuisine. Koshari blends lentils, rice, ancient grains. Fool Madams simmers fava beans from pharaonic silos. Traditions persist. Coptic, last demotic echo, chants mass in churches. Bohairic dialect weaves with Arabic. Pride pulses. 2021 Mummy Parade. 22 Royals. Sekenenre, Hatshepsut. Procession to National Museum of Egyptian Civilization. Golden sarcophagi gleaming under Cairo lights. Luxor's Avenue of Sphinxes reopens. 2021. 3 kilometers limestone guardians. Karnak to Luxor Temple. Grand Egyptian Museum, opening 2023, Dwarfs Louvre, 100,000 artifacts, Tut's Treasures Star, excavations thrill, Saqqara's 250-plus shafts, 2000s and 20s, Tapasiris Magna's Cleopatra Hunt, highways carve deserts, Suez Mitla tunnel links continents, new administrative capital rises East Cairo, solar-powered nod to Ra. Discoveries beckon, Black Desert geoglyphs, Minya tombs, next Tutankhamun, Egypt enchants, pyramids shadows lengthen at dusk, Nile's whisper calls wanderers, gift of eternity, land of mysteries, dazzling, unyielding, forever.